Okay.
Okay, so we have
Thank you.
a W formation. You're welcome. What is the rule of W formation? Okay. The second leg must be higher than the first leg. And because I want to be objective in my data, because that's what data collection is, I will
Okay.
only buy the center with a limit. Or look at that. So we'll just look at buys because I really don't trade M's. Whenever I trade this, I trade in just one direction. So
Okay.
this formation, and then this is, let's say you are creating a rule. Probably the spelling, I'll say, okay, only M15 and above, for instance. So now you have a rule. And once I have this, I'll just come to the charts. I'm looking for something like this, and this is the center. And once we close, I will only buy the center with a limit after I close above it. So not a week. Once we close above the center, I would buy this retracement. And then you can now say, depending on you. So I use RR because it's easily objective. It can be measured, or you can say 20 R 2 RR, or since the trade has 20 points, whatever. But or 50 points, I don't know. This is just an idea. Rules can be followed.
Okay.
Rules is objective. I think that's the first. I see people backtest a lot, but they do not translate it in real life because in the data they collect, it is not very objective. A W formation,
Okay.
a return to the center, and I would buy it. And I'll target, I'll use, okay, 2 to 1. SL is, is the second leg low. So second leg, SL is here. You can put a little bit because of spread. 2 hour. If this works on any time frame above 15 minutes, I will do it. Simple rule. And now you go to the data. People say that if you're on the 1 minute, some people say 2 weeks data is okay. Some people say 1 hour data is okay. 1 month data is, my friend believes, and I agree with him, objectively 1 year's data is okay, especially if you're on 15 minutes, if you're going to 1 hour, just because lots of stuff happen at different times of the year. So let's come to this. For
Okay.
instance, if I was trading this, I wanted something that looks like a W. This is a first leg. This is a retracement. This goes up. The question is, did it form here? This looks like it, but it's not very objective. This looks like a W before all this happened. So I said I would buy the center. This is the center. So I'll put my limit here. And I said, I'll do this. This will have taken me out and price will have gone up. Very annoying, but I'll come. And how do I journal this? I usually prefer links because I don't use Notion. I have Notion, I have all this fancy stuff, but I realize something that whenever I'm doing it, I usually get lost. I usually,
Okay.
I'm always concerned about all the fantastic stuff, but I just use my Google Sheets. It's free for everybody. If you have a Gmail account, I can access my data anywhere, and it's just very clean. Of course, it's limited. I don't have all the fancy stuff. I can add my win rate. I can put a chart. I can make it better for people who use it. Also, I can import it into my Excel and just do it better. But the first thing is
Okay.
I want to collect the data, and my interest, for instance, is in my win rate. So I tell myself I just need win rate. Let me find a journal so that I do not. Let's see. Okay, there was W. So this is a W that we do on that I was when I was trading on JPY. So let's look at some. In this instance, we have this, it goes up a bit, it comes down here, it goes up. So if I draw this, so we have this, it goes up, it comes down, it goes up. We do not close below the low in this first leg. Is this a nice SW? No.
Yes.
But this is not how you then, this is, I think, if I'm then, so initially, if we come to back to this place, I start with, I think I must have noted it somewhere, and then you tell yourself notes. I started with, let me show, sorry, I'm just getting, so if you notice in this place, so this is, we'll draw this again. Can you see my annotation? This,
Yeah, I
this,
can see.
this, and this, it closed. And I have data on this. And I was like, all right, this is nice. Entry here. It was a 3-1 undistracted on 15 minutes. All right, good. But then I realized W's are happening everywhere. There is, if you look at it objectively, this is one, goes up, comes down, this, buy. And then I told myself, all right, I cannot capture everything. And you see, I have this on the chart. I was like, all right, I can trade in Asia.
Yes.
Am I awake in, and that's why I have this. When I have this, okay, my friend and I were using this. He's in Asia, he's awake during Asia period. I am not. That's why I have this line at 3 o'clock. I start trading in London. So if he's awake, he can call me. If not, on this day, I'll take something like this, 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 this. I don't think it came back to it. So I start asking myself, I'm going to then change it because you cannot capture everything. You're trying to, when you collect, because you have to collect data or you have to backtest in such a way as to the truth of what of how your day is going to be. If you're someone that you're busy from morning till night and you have very busy job that doesn't allow you to look at your phone, collecting 1 minute data is stressful. Or it might be nice, but it doesn't help you because you cannot use it, if that makes sense. And all of a sudden, I started, for
Yes, yes,
instance,
yes.
going back to this W, I started finding, I was like, after I got the data, I saw that I was having lots of false positives. So I would see a formation that works, I will enter it to work, but then I'll see another one that doesn't work. And then I told myself, and then I increased the rule. And that's why at the end here, you were seeing something like, um, for instance, you were seeing the EMA. So my friend was like, I incorporated the 20 moving average. This is just 20 EMA, exponential moving average. And I came to it and I was like, all right, since I only want to buy, the first rule is one, I need that formation. Okay, center. And then we close there. The second leg formed. We didn't close below this. So when you see this gang box, I put it from the low here to the center. Do not close below the second low. It's there in the rules. We have to close above this center. So the center is just like the midpoint or the highest, like the, since we are looking at this, so we want this, price is not going to be in one straight line. You could have started from here and looked at it. So if we close above the center, I then told myself, this close above the center must happen above the 20 moving average. It cannot be below it. So if we look below here, for instance, this, 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 and this. This is a small one happening, of course. And you see how price came back to it there. This is a small one happening here.
Okay.
But the rule is simpler. It has to close above the EMA. If it doesn't, I leave it alone. All of a sudden, you bought a filter. Additionally, so Asia session, I'm not there. My friend will call me, but it happened. Price came back here at this point in time. I can enter, even got a better entry. But this is, I'm telling myself I can allow all this drawdown. Someone else might say, all right, if it closes above, it's until it touches the EMA, I would buy. I do not know. I'm not teaching you strategy. I'm only showing you how I journal. So when I then come here, there's a W, and then 1 minute, and then I come to this. This was in 2024. My strategy is simple, or my rules are clear. I write my rules out. This and this and that. I can have a limit order, A, B, C, D, whatever. I have a diagram of what I'm trying to achieve. I have a structure that shows my win rate. I have lots of BE days. I have more winning days and I have less. And I have a fixed R, 3 hour, because I'm collecting data. 1.5, I'm sure there must be a reason. Maybe it has gone for 2 or 3 days, depending. Or maybe a new trade showed up or whatever. And then 1% loss. This is just data. It's just to show yourself. And I collected it for a while. This was from beginning of the year. This was still for 1 year. So collected it for 1 year. And it was profitable, of course. More days that I didn't have a trade, but it's okay. What do I need for my data? In this instance, I wanted the win rate. That's what I cared about. I didn't care about when the setup happened. I didn't care about how many hours it went. Of course, in this instance, it reached 6.4. But I felt like if I can get 3, that's more than enough. So I would come, I need a date so I can remember myself, the day of the week, a screenshot for future purposes, and win or loss or nil is B, what I get, how much, and I'm calculating, you know, and I'm using a strict 1%. So not that 1% of my starting balance, just 1,000 because it was an 100K account. So just 1% of the original balance, initial balance rather.
Okay.
And
Okay.
while I was doing this, I remember then, wait a minute, I think I call, was it this? Wait a minute. Oh, okay. Yeah. And because I was experiencing a lot of issues whereby price was going up and was coming back, I decided, let me look at it if it gets to a 1.3 hour. So same thing. This is strange. This is not data. Sorry, 1 minute. These are old data, so I do not know it off the back of my head very well again. Just give me a minute. Tuba alpha. No, I think maybe I deleted it. Okay, this is gold, same idea. But either which way, it doesn't matter. I cannot find it, and I do not want to spend too much time here. So I also can look, all right, if I have a loss, first, it's not, when someone is backtesting, there's always this will to want to win. But I told myself, first is not that. The first thing is to gather, to see, all right, if I go through all my losses and then realize that, okay, most of my losses get to 1-to-1 more than they get to 2-to-1, or they get to 2-to-1 more than they get to 3-to-1, then you start looking at it. Even on the side, you can have, okay, I need to show you one more thing. Okay, let's see. I think I know where that is. Okay, I think this. So for instance, what I'm about to say. So this is under data that I have under strategy. This is if I go for 2%, I'm risking 2%, but I go for 1 hour, or I'm risking 2%, I take 1% off at 1 hour, and I take 1% off at 2 hour, and I move it to B or B. So what am I doing? I was trying to compare what it means going for 1 hour or going for taking partials, and trying to see if it makes sense for me to take partials or it means we just go for 1%. I use 2% in this instance because the stop are big. It's about 20 points on US 500. So on NASDAQ, I have the same stuff on NASDAQ. Then I believe it was about a 50-point stop, if I'm not wrong, mechanically. Bam, bam, this was still 11,000, Jesus. Very, very long time ago. So it was about 60 points.
Okay, yeah.
It was about 60 points. And it was like that. So it was like a 60-point loss 1 hour. And I didn't overthink it. Why am I saying all this is that That's how I get. I don't use anything fancy. I just use simple Excel, Microsoft Excel or Google Docs because I have access to it. And I just put it
Okay.
there. And I'm just interested in very clear rules. I don't put my will on the market. I don't, let's this lost, for instance. All right, let's say I can only enter two trades, or it doesn't matter. You can tell yourself that in this instance, this is the low of this. This is the midpoint. Even though it wicked below this, it didn't close below its low. Once we close above it here, I'll put an order in there. Wait a minute. That center. Stop is here and target there. W, you can see it's clear. I don't look for, oh, no, no, no. Of course, I didn't turn on the EMA here. There. And I'm asking myself, is it below the EMA? You start observing, then you start seeing your losses. Now that if I was trading this, most likely I will not be in this trade because, not because it lost, just because this, there is too much gap. I started incorporating, and that's why I have the GAN box there. If my second leg is below 60%, so I like 60% retracement, so 0.38 is 60% in the opposite direction. If my second leg does not close below 0.38, don't engage it. So I'll not have bought this, I'll have left it alone. That's a rule. In this instance, I'm sure of it because it came below here. So you then collect, and then you see the behavior. Loss wins. I have winning strategies. I have terrible strategies that their win rate are very bad, and it then depends on you. And I have something like this that this is the equity curve that is very good, and you try your best as much as possible just to be objective. Don't say, "Oh, I would do this." No, it's very hard to collect data manually. That's for the back test, and for the journal, I just do that. Coming back to this, so that the last thing, I trade 1 hour primarily. What I do every week and every month, every day, or every day of the week. Why? My current life doesn't allow me to be on the NASDAQ 1 minute or something. And I realize my strategy works better on the Forex pairs. So I come on the 1 hour. I trade 5 pairs. I traded more, but I come. I have I've told everybody my rules. You already know, like I said, this is not about rules. In my rules, I have two types of entries. It can either be a 2 KFC or it can be
Okay.
an OB. I have continuation, but I don't trade continuation on the 1 hour. So it's simple. I come on each day. I want my pair. I trade 5 of them here, 5 there. What type of, I have defined my expansions, type 1, type 2. Okay, what kind of expansion was it when I took that setup? Type 1. What kind of entry confirmation was it? It was a 2 KFC. It was a OB. It was a continuation. In this instance, it was a 2 KFC. All right. Did it, and then I have other things. I didn't include this before in the hold, but then I started observing that price might behave somehow differently. If you have a close above the open of the second bar of the 2 bar, I can show you what this is, but it's not about the strategy. I saw that price usually behave at my entry in 4 different ways, and I included those 4 different ways here. So my pair, the type of expansion, the kind of confirmation, the type of formation, is it a sell? Did it win? A picture, the loss, and a place for comment for myself. And that's just it. And I do this every week. And at the end of the week, I do it from Monday to Friday and I calculate. I'm not going to catch everything. I know I'm busy. I'm not on the screen every time. So I look at it and I'll look at the end of the week. Okay, this week it should have been a 20 hour. This is and I'm an hour trader. Okay, this is 20%. This is 20. This empty one just means that the trade is running. That's not one. Okay, 20%. I should have been up by 20%. All right. What did I win for the week? Did I gain 1%? Did I gain 2%? Okay, I didn't get me. Did I do 10%? And then I'm looking at it overall like, all right, my strategy gives me 20% in a week. I'm not saying it does that every week. If I can capture half of it, what if I capture all the losses? What if I capture all the losses and half of the wins? Is it sustainable for me? That's what I do every time. So if I want to, because I've not reviewed, I've not journaled this week. So let's say this week I started from, let's go and just do one or two. I turn on this
Okay.
just to help me see. I must clear the chart and I come here and let's say I go to gold. Was I gold on Monday? I think it was, doesn't matter. I come here, my strategy is simple. I do the same thing over and over again. I already defined it. I wake, this line is when I start trading. I would not trade before midnight open New York or 11 p.m. Chicago. I would not trade before it. I start trading at this time. Okay. Do I have a setup? As at then, I believe the trade from last week was running. It was running here. So, yes, I did. I can see it that I wanted to take this long. It doesn't matter. So, if I show you, according to my, I can remove this for 1 minute. According to me, I had planned this out last week. So if I come to Euro, you see, a trade was already running last week. This entry was there since last week. And so this week, the entry came down here into it on Friday. And according to my rules, this is a trade. Doesn't matter, just according to my rules. My entry should be there, but this is too high for me, so I didn't trade it even though I saw it. Additionally, the trade already played out while I was asleep. So I wake up here. This is a setup. I want an expansion. I want a second expansion through it. The second expansion was like this. Before all this happened, I marked it out. I want us to close above it and come back into it. The second expansion also had its own. I want us to close below, above it, and come back into it. In real life, I set my entry here. There was an EMA here, price bounced on it and walked away. So I do not record this trade. I go to the next chart. I find it like that. Let's say, for instance, this was Thursday last week, just to give you an example. This is my expansion. We close above it. This is the OB. We close below this OB. I'm going to sell this objectively.
Okay.
I'm going to put a limit here. This is my continuation block. Pi should not close above that. I'll put it above a little because this is 5 points. Spread is real. So 1 pip for spread. This was how I did it, 7 points in real life. My target there. Yeah. But this is a 4.89 hour. In real life, I closed it somewhere there. I think for 3 hours. I think I closed it for 3 hours in real life, and I closed my stuff when they were rejecting somewhere there. Doesn't matter. This is a trade idea, and I believe price would go down there eventually. I think it came down, but it was lost. So what kind of expansion is this? According to the EMA, according to the, excuse me, according to the stuff, it's a type 1. All right, type 1. So this is Thursday, AUD. Thursday, AUD, type 1. Doesn't make sense as a loss. No, it's Thursday, but it's a Friday. Friday, AUD. This is a trade. Yeah, I didn't record it because I've closed it, but I want to see actually, you see, closed it in real life for 3 hours, but I want to see if where it got to. AUD type 1.
Okay.
If I come here, I said there was an expansion through it, a second expansion. So that means two KFC. KFC is just like two failed expansions. So an expansion, a second expansion. All right, two KFC. Then the next question I'm asking myself is, for this first expansion, this is the 2 bar, right? The last candle in the expansion, did we wick it open in the first 2 candles after it? Did we close above it? No, in this instance, we didn't wick it open or its high. So no close above open or close of the two bar within the first two candles with two candles. That's what I meant. All right. No close. What kind of formation was it? It was a sell. Sell. I've already closed this in real life, but I'm going to record this as a loss in my data because this was the extent. TP1 at least was where I felt price would get to before it reversed. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not showing my strategy. I'm not showing, and then I can then come and tell myself, okay, in the future, I want to, okay, I want to tell me, I want to filter, I want to see only AUD. Am I profitable on AUD? Oh, I want to look at the filter, USD. Am I profitable on USD? I used to have more peers, for instance, my peers are there, whereby there were more filter. You see, 10, I was trading NASDAQ. So if I clear everything and I put only NASDAQ, I didn't trade it for long, but then I realized when I did NASDAQ, it was 0.81%. So after trading it for almost, I don't know how long this was, maybe I was like, NASDAQ is not the best. So I don't think, compare that in that same time period to say maybe gold, I don't know. Maybe gold is better. Gold was 27 hour. Same time period on gold, I got 27%. If I traded every trade, of course, I didn't. But in that same period, NASDAQ was less than 1% and less trade, of course. So what about USD JPY? USD JPY in that same time period was 12%. So why will I trade NASDAQ? And that's what data collection is all about. So when you're backtesting, it's not really, and I know it's very easy to get lost into it and want to just be about, I want to win because everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to get something that works. If you already have it, my advice would be let it be objective. Your rule has to be clear. I believe there's no way. I usually struggle when people say I'm a discretionary trader and I collect data. It's like, but there are lots of things that are happening in the market. Sometimes I take a loss. So I take a loss on okay, on my pop farm, I can only take 2 trades per day, strictly. So if I take the first loss, unless it was because of something stupid. So in this trade, for instance, it's a lovely trade. For instance, this is an OB trade. So the second candle was the OB. My rule is close above this, come back here and on. But let's just say, for instance, price ran further down. And now this was on EU, on AU. But then I went to trade EU at the same time and I lost the trade. All of a sudden, I cannot take this trade or I'm afraid or something. And everybody tell you, oh, I'm going to be objective. I will take the trade. It's like, no, you would not. My friend would say, price is fractal, mindset is not fractal. Sometimes you take a loss, and because of that, you don't want to enter or you make your stop bigger because you're not objective. But when you're back testing, you'll be like, oh, I'll put it there because you've seen what is happening. But for me, I can stop at any random time in the future or in the past, and I should find a trade that
Exactly.
it should be the same thing. Well, I hope we can try it. So left to right, like we do. I will not take this. So if I was trading on Tuesday this time is when I was come to the chart. So this, as much as beautiful as it is, I will not take this because the first candle closed to be above. On Monday, if you look at my data, I will have taken a loss here. Expansion, second candle was this. I need a close above this. It does. I'm going to buy this. Expansion, this didn't expand below it. Stop ideally should be there. But then because I trade in a different way now too, expansion, this is too high. 1 minute, expansion, this is too low. So this is stop here. This is the best I could put my stop, but typically it should be there, nothing more. This is for the 3rd or the 4th, Monday, the 4th of August. Monday, August is 8. Oh, I was wondering where did everything go? Clear, select all. Monday, the 4th of August. AUD. Oh my. Right, okay. August is 8. That doesn't make sense. I have for 5th. Oh my God. Because I changed my journal at the time. So, okay, let's just
E.
find this. AUD should be
Yeah.
long and it should be a loss. Wait, it should be a 2 bar OB. I can't find it. Doesn't matter. Let's look for. No, I have to find it. Sorry, my mind would not deal with me. So it could also be where I was looking at it from, but I cannot find
No
that.
problem. No problem.
It's a long
Okay.
a minute. This is Monday, the 4th of August, AUD. Week 31. Is it week 31? Week 32. Okay, week 32. Do not have, is it this? Then? Okay, yeah. I didn't have because of the time of day. I use M60. Okay, this is August. Okay, now I understand why. Why this stop loss? This stop loss should not be this big. I would never use this now, but I know why, because of the time, because of this information. On the 60-minute, I was finding, and I'll show you what I was finding. If you go to the 16-minute, and I turn this off, I was looking for the continuation block to use. Expansion, expansion.
Okay.
So if I turn this off for a minute, an expansion that closed below it, the green candle that comes back into it, there, there. That should have been it. And that is why this is down there. Nothing more. But either which way, you have to make it objective, really. And I do the same thing over and over again. My stops are there. You would always see my stop. Why is my stop here? Because this is the OB. My stop should be here because this is the, according to me, this is a continuation block, but I don't put it exactly on it. So this is a last low before it. Put it there. Takes me out. I don't care. I'm not going to put my stop here objectively. I'm not going to tell myself I'll put my stop here. I will put my stop there. It's a loss. It's not the end of the world. Expansion. I should buy this and I should have a stop here. So on Tuesday, if I look at this chart, I should have a loss. I should be here and taking a loss unless there's a sell on the side. So this is Tuesday and this is Euro JPY. Euro JPY on Tuesday, loss. I would enter here. My stop is supposed to be here, but because you see, it's not even down here because this is what I did. Simple loss. So that is how you do it. Your ideas just have, your rules just have to be clear. They have to be clear. You're not trying to impress anybody. You're just trying to impress yourself and trying to find out objective data about your trading. Also, don't use
Okay.
anything fancy that would make you not. This is very easy for me. I have videos of me journaling. It's a pity. This will soon finish in about less than 1 minute. And if I come to because I do this, that's why I didn't. So this is week 37, part 2, Friday. And I just play, for instance. We have less than a minute, so the stream my hand. See? I click
Okay.
and I speak to myself, post it, record whatever it is, record any information. That's it, done. I move to the next one. And gold, nice. We already dealt with this. That's it. That's what I do, actually. I don't know if it's helpful, but that's what I do. I have clear rules and I include all those things into it. And I just record it and I move on. And I need my win rate and I need win rate. I'm concerned about win rate and I'm concerned about RR. And I just let allow my stuff to do the rest.
Okay.
Unless you have any other question or anything else. Sorry, I talked straight for 30 minutes or so, but that's it. That's what I do.
No problem. I